Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Our Narrow Road podcast, where I, Amanda Williams, your host, and Avery Williams, your co-host, are living out a countercultural life, and we're inviting you to join us. We're so glad you're here. Hello, everybody. It is daytime when I'm doing a podcast, so this is really fun. I wanted to hop on today. It is a beautiful 60-degree day. Sun is shining. I've got tulips peeking at me across the table. And it made me think, let's talk about spring. Let's talk about a spring fling big refresh in our homes, in our pantries, in all the outdoor spaces, all the things. And so I just wanted to have a fun episode with you guys, and I'll probably do this seasonally. And what spurred this on, despite the weather today, was a conversation I was having with a friend who lives down in the South, and we were talking about weather differences and garden planting and all of that. And she was like, you're just so intentional with your life. I can't even believe you're thinking this stuff this far ahead. And I thought that is, one of the ways that I seem different than people is that I do think ahead. I'm a planner. I'm type A, and there's a lot of those type of people in the world, 50% probably, maybe some of you listening. But I think sometimes we can get so overwhelmed. And, I'm a systems person. And as my family has gotten bigger, rather than trying to control things more, I just put more systems in place. And one of those, even in our little house, I would notice I was so busy raising kids and setting up the plastic table for every meal and putting away the chairs because we had no room at our table. And just the different things that we added to our situation because there was so much more of us in such a small space. I was letting other things go by the wayside, like cleaning out the gutters or washing my windows and taking my screens off. I used to be so faithful, getting my screens, cleaning them a certain way, whatever. And then I almost feel like in our little house, because I knew we were going to be gutting it and didn't know at the time we'd be tearing it down due to some issues that we would uncover. But I just felt like this is not a good use of my time because I know it's all going to go away soon anyway. And so just reestablishing those habits in a bigger home has been very interesting. So I had asked Eric the other day, I said, do you know of any window cleaning companies around here? And he's like, absolutely not. And I'm like, but I'm afraid of heights and I cannot climb up to the second story to clean those windows. And he's like, well, that is why we are blessed with 6 children to help us. And so I'm sure someone can help you. And he's like, I will help you. So I guess we won't be hiring our windows done, but I can do the downstairs ones just fine. I'm a little afraid of those upper. But anyway, so just thinking through some of those things as spring is just pulling us outdoors and the thunderstorms are rolling in. And I think we just want to purge and we want to clean and all of that. And so I just wanted to talk about a couple ways, several actually. I'm going to kind of spitfire these and they're in random order. So just enjoy the ride. But I want to talk about some of the ways that I naturally, in my mind, want to prepare for spring, things that I've naturally done for our 26 years of marriage, and probably even a bit when I was a teenager at home. My mom loved letting me decorate my room, and I would paint and different things, but just things that naturally in my mind I will do when this season starts to kind of stir in my soul. The first thing that I even did this year was I removed some heavy furniture where it was appropriate to do so. And so we had these big, beautiful clunky chairs, and so I had repositioned those into the boys' bedroom, and they're loving them. They're great for reading and climbing up to the bunk bed and all of that. And I replaced them with these beautiful dainty antique wooden chairs that are about 100 years old that were passed down to me from my family. And so I have those tucked in a corner versus a big clunky, cozy chair. I had this beautiful, I think it's beautiful, antique cupboard that was right inside my door, and although it functioned very, very well there, it just felt heavy in the space, felt a little bit out of place. The cupboard stores a lot of our homeschool supplies. Our printer, unfortunately, wouldn't fit behind closed doors, so I had to leave it in the section where, you could see it. The baskets, I think, were lovely. I had things pretty well hidden, but it was just the one shelf where my printer and the paper was stored. It was really bothering me, and the cabinet is just so heavy. And although it did bring some warmth to that wall, it just felt like it needed repurposed and refreshed. So I moved it into a different room where it's working beautifully and it looks lovely in there. And that room was very sparse and very white. And it's just, yeah, it was a really good change. So rearranging furniture. I grew up rearranging furniture all the time. Even Mom and I, we would just, even though we knew there was only like 3 ways we could put the furniture, we would constantly try new things, haul up bookshelves from the basement or move the books to the basement and put something else lovely, a table behind the couch. I mean, there were so many things. I just had so much fun with my mom growing up, just rearranging, trying new things. We're both visual. I can see things without, moving the space around where she needed to actually move the furniture to envision it. And so that was so much fun. And so I've just taken that into my married life. I love to rearrange furniture. Matter of fact, oh goodness, I don't know if it was like a month ago. I just flip-flopped our large couch and our love seat to different, just reversed them. And oh my word, it's changed everything. I love it. Everybody loves it. The way I decorate with pillows is different. The way we sit as a family to watch a movie or something, it's so different. The way we engage with the fireplace, it's just changed everything. I love it. So don't be afraid to switch your furniture around, pare down heavy furniture during this time of year and just bring that light feel. Also, I say, just as an aside, before I move on to the next thing, if you have a room in your house or a particular space that you are struggling to keep clean, rearrange it, do something different, because there is studies that show in your mind when something feels new and something feels fresh, it's easier to care for it. And so I'll do that in my bedroom. In the winter, I bring in cozy magazines and books and kind of stack them beside my bedside table. And I have all kinds of things going on in there that right now are driving me nuts. I cannot manage them. I cannot keep them clean. And it is not a time where I'm going to sit in bed reading through books and magazines like I would when it was blizzarding outside. So I need to get in there and I need to rearrange some things. I need to repurpose what kind of things do I want on my bedside table. Now I'm more editing photos at night or coming up with content or researching recipes, things like that. So I'll definitely reorder or reorganize some things and allow myself to enjoy the space, and it will help me want to keep it more clean. So that's just a little bit of an aside of something that I've learned. Okay, bedding, since I'm talking about the bedroom right now. Bedding, I have this beautiful velvet. Well, I'm just going to say I think it's beautiful because I have it, but it's such a beautiful color and texture of this lightweight blanket, but it looks very autumnal or wintry. And so I do need to switch it up. I need something that's more spring. My problem and what I'm dragging my feet about is that I love its weight, how it feels. It's not too heavy, not too light. And I love the color that it brings to my bedroom. The other spring blankets that I have at this time are light, and I've really enjoyed having the color on my bed. And so I need to remedy that. But that's something that can be easily done. I know some people love like flannel sheets or a t-shirt type feel of sheet during the winter, whereas spring, they want the crisp cotton, that you can toss out on the line. And so I do switch out my sheets as well. Okay, another little thing I love to do in the spring is opening the doors and the windows for at least 15 minutes a day. And yesterday we had a little bit of a lull where we were freezing cold, but I was at least able to have them open for most of the day. And I think, barring allergy issues, we do have to kind of watch for that in our family, but barring any allergy flares, I do love to get a little bit of fresh air in at this time of year, even when it's a little cool outside. Washing rugs and hanging them on the line. I just got my clothesline re-put up like a month ago. My husband worked on it for me, and it's not perfect and it's not exactly where it's going to be or the right height and all the things, but I don't care. I've got stuff out there like every day. So I have some washable rugs, and I'm going to be talking about those on our April recommendations, like the brand I use and things like that, and the ones I will not recommend. But these are easy to take to the laundromat. I just shove them in the biggest washer and I get them really, really clean, and then I just drape them on the line to dry. A couple hours later, I go and flip them over so the sun can get the other side, and then we're good to go. Switching out clothes. Okay, getting rid of clothing with holes. This time of year, I don't know what it is. As the laundry's coming through, it's like we've got clothes with buttons missing, or holes in the knees, or holes in our socks, underwear with elastic that's unraveling up and down the stairs as you're trying to haul clothes around. I'm just throwing them in the garbage. It's ridiculous. Obviously, they're not the ones that you can mend. Okay, these are like far gone. They've been passed down from Jordan, John, all the way to Samson, they're destroyed. And so I'm just purging. It just feels so good to get those things off of my list, just get rid of them. And so that's been really, really helpful. But then don't forget to replace them. So order yourself new underwear, new bras, new socks, whatever you need. This is a great time. I cannot tell you. I think 3 out of my 6 children have all said, Mom, I need new underwear. I need new socks. And so it just seems like the perfect time of year to do something like that. Another thing that I love doing in the spring, and I've just started in March, and it's been so fun, is switching out my pajamas and my skincare. So I will talk about my pajamas sometime on a recommendation podcast, but a couple years ago, I'm not a dress person. If you don't know me, growing up as a little girl, I thought dresses were stupid, itchy, gross, too girly. I didn't like lace, all the things. I wanted to climb trees with the boys and play basketball outside and that kind of thing. But I didn't like bugs and I didn't like being hot. That came later. But I just didn't like dresses. It was just, I didn't. And so a couple years ago, I was watching a YouTube video from a gal, and it was like entitled, How to Live More Luxuriously in Your Home or something. And I just was captivated by some of the things she suggested. And she shared about wearing some appropriate pajamas. And I'm like, oh, I just wear like these black, capri kind of pajama pants and an old t-shirt. And I'm like, poor Eric, how awful. And so the gal just said, you feel more luxurious when you actually put on a dignified pair of pajamas. And so I found this awesome brand, and I'll share more about it another time. But I love these pajamas. I feel so pretty in them. And I feel like I can walk around the house and feel somewhat dignified. And people are always like, oh, I really like those. Oh, I like the pattern on your pajamas. And I've got some pretty toile fabric. It's like a French countryside theme. Toile is the name of the fabric. And I have some of those that I love. They have a little soft collar and some buttons, and they're just super cool. And then she also said, put on a dress. And I thought, no, I hate dresses. But I'll tell you, I thought, I'll try it. I'll try. I just happened to go to Walmart one day and I saw these really pretty dresses and I tried them on and I thought, oh my goodness, I actually don't feel like I look stupid in this dress. I feel okay. Like I feel okay about myself. And they had maybe 3 designs. And so I bought all 3. They were like $16 a piece. And I started rotating them and I started getting compliments on them. And I realized like these are actually really comfortable. I can clean the house in these. I have no problem mopping, sweeping, doing all my chores. But then if I need to run to the store, I still look kind of presentable. All I have to do is just change my shoes. And it has been life-changing for me. And then there's this place called Thigh Society, and they have these really cool like underdress shorts that you can get. You can get them as thin as like pantyhose. You can even get them, I think some people get them like more like a Spanx where they like suck you in. I've never liked that kind of thing. I always feel like I have like 6 extra layers of clothing on, which makes me feel even bigger and more gross. So I just wear the normal like shorts kind. But that's really comforting when the wind catches your skirt or something on your way to the grocery store. But they're amazing. And so I've just over time started collecting dresses. And so I'm actually really excited that spring is here. I can start wearing my dresses again. And it's funny, at the end of the spring and summer season, I might, put on a pair of jeans or something for fall, and I'll see somebody and they'll be like, oh, you look so cute in jeans. You should wear those more often. So it's definitely a preference, but I'll have to say in the summer, I hate being hot. In the spring, I want to be busy. And I feel like these types of dresses, you could be like out in the garden, you could be inside sweeping, mopping, doing dishes, or you could run to the grocery store or take the kids to the park and still feel somewhat presentable. So just getting your clothes nice, and then your skincare is the next thing that I had, pajamas and skincare. And I found this gal on Instagram, and she was just talking about these under eye patches. And I have never used anything like this before, but I did order them. There's like a vitamin C patch. There's like a glutathione, and you just stick them right underneath your eye. And they're so moisturizing, and I don't care if they work. They feel so fun. I brew up my little cup of tea at night and put those little eye patches on after I wash my face. And it's just gotten me excited about taking care of my skin. And I am 47, so I probably should. I've always taken care of my skin, and I've always had a certain skincare brand that I would use, like their step system. Right now I use something called Toops & Co., and I'll talk about that maybe on a recommendation podcast. But I use their system, so it's not like I don't care for my skin, but just like going the extra mile, doing these fun little things. it's definitely a great time during spring to do that. Okay, changing out your hand soaps, your lotions to maybe some lighter scents. I don't do a lot of fragrance, but I do love, I think it's Myers something or other hand soap. And in the winter months, I've used like birchwood or cedar or something like that, eucalyptus. Whereas in the spring, I would like a lavender or a lemon or a citrus. And so sometimes just changing out a few of those things just really helps you feel like you're moving into spring, and it just brings the outdoors in a little bit. Speaking of that, bringing the outdoors in, I love getting tulips this time of year, hyacinths and daffodils. And the tulips, I really love, you've probably seen these around, but you can get tulips where you actually see the roots growing. So it's just the bulbs in a glass vase and you can see the roots growing, and I love that. But they also have the planter ones as well, and I like those. Or just even fresh cut. But my favorite are the ones where the roots are growing. Something spring. I don't know. That's just so spring to me, the new life, and you can see the growth. Okay, so then that's all the fun stuff. So then let's get down to we have to clean our house stuff. So a good thing to do in spring is washing your windows. And I just love to get like a bucket of hot water. This is what I used to do in my little house. And I would do a bucket of hot water, just a little bit of soap, and a few drops of essential oils like lemon. That really helps we live by farms, what am I trying to say, cornfields, where the sticky stuff blows into your screens and all of that. So I would take the screens off, I would lay them in my bathtub with some vinegar water and some dish soap. And then I would go back out to the window with the water, dish soap, lemon essential oil, and vinegar. And then I would just get a brush and I would just scrub the window, wipe it off. Then I would go back with my Norwex Enviro cloth and polishing cloth, and that's basically did the trick. On the inside, I would do similar. I would also take the vacuum and just kind of vacuum out the tracks and try to dust those. But washing the screens, that was just amazing. Like all the pollen and just the grime from the farmers being in the fields. And you want to do this on an overcast day, so that will help you a lot. It will allow you to avoid any streaks on your windows. Okay, vacuuming under your cushions. This is a really good time to do this. So taking your cushions off your couch, off your chairs, vacuuming. Some of the cushions, you can unzip and you can wash the covers. This is a great time to do that because, like I said, you can get those out on the clothesline. They'll be dry in a jiffy and you can get them put right back on. That was something that always took forever in the winter. I had an old couch and I would have to take off the cushions and wash them, and then I would try to hang them to dry in the house, and it would take forever, and I would feel like people needed to use the furniture, but then they'd sit on the foam and it would get gross. And so I love this time of year, just using that clothesline. I also swap out my throw pillows, and I do this every month. As of late, I've been trying to do it more seasonally. I think that's a little bit more, practical for a family our size, because I'm always very tempted to buy new pillows. You can ask my aunt and my mom. They think I have a problem. But I do have my a whole basement wall full of organized pillows by color in these bags. And I do love every month just to have a new color scheme for the living room. I swap out the pillows, swap out the flowers, and yeah, it's just such a good thing to do. I also like to spray with deodorizer. So there's this one called Odorzyme or something like that from Norwex. I love it. I think it's there's like a Sportzyme and a Odorzyme. Whichever one you get, either of them are fine, but I like the one, it almost smells like baby powder. And it doesn't leave that baby powder scent on your couch, but it takes it almost like baking soda, like it takes away the scent. And so I really love that. It just is like a fresh smell. And then in the kitchen, it's a good time to like dust your refrigerator coils, defrost any freezers. I don't know if anybody really has that type anymore, but it's a good time to clean out your freezer. We order a whole cow and 2 hogs and like 40 chickens for the year. And so it's a really good time to kind of go through your freezers and just figure out what you need to use up, what you have, and get those cleaned out. It's a great time to deep clean the pantry. I don't know about you, but I'm like throwing away old candy cane bits and old marshmallows from campfires in the fall that are stale, and crumbs from chips and things like that. So deep cleaning the oven. I feel like I've used my oven a lot over the winter, and there's been a little bit of spill here and there. So it'd be a good time for me to get that cleaned out. And we do a homemade pizza night every Saturday. And so I do not want that smoking up the house every Saturday, so this is a great time just to get in there and get that done. Cleaning the inside of the refrigerator, something I used to do all the time. And I haven't done it since we got our new refrigerators, but I would clean the inside, and then I would get a little cotton ball and I would put some vanilla extract on it, and I would just tuck the cotton ball in the back of each shelf, and it helped with odors, and it just smelled so good and so fresh. And I don't know why I stopped doing that. I think just in the hustle and bustle of life and building the house, and we had our kitchen in a mudroom for a while with just insulation. I don't think I cared about that at the time, but now I think I could get back to my old ways. Wiping your cabinet fronts and the tops. So once a week we try to just quickly wipe down the cabinets, but yesterday the kids helped me get on the counters and scrub the fronts of the cabinets, and I cannot tell you how much better they look. And then the tops of the cabinets, a lot of you have cupboards that maybe go to the top. We don't have our hood vent installed yet, so we haven't had that piece put on. And they're so disgusting. I just cleaned up there after Christmas when I took everything down, and the boys were looking up there yesterday saying, "Mom, we've got to clean this again." So it's a good time to do that. Deep cleaning small appliances. So I have this little ice maker, and what I love to do is I love to drain it. I love to put a little capful of Thieves cleaner from Young Living, and then I fill it with water, and I just let it make ice cubes the whole day, just continuing to pull that Thieves cleaner through, and then I just kind of rinse it out, and then we're good to go. So it's a great time to do that. I love cleaning out the air fryer this time of year. We do clean it every Friday and kind of vacuum it out. But I want to do a deep clean where you scrub down the outside with, some degreasing kind of thing. And our griddle. This is a good time for cleaning off our griddle and possibly our grill as well. We have a new grill, so it's not really dirty, but this would be a good time to clean your grill. And then also in my kitchen, just cleaning under the sink and restocking some supplies. I noticed that as time goes on, you've got, a few bottles of this and a few bottles of that, and things tipped over, and I just want to reorganize that. So this is a great time for that. In your bathrooms, getting rid of and replacing old makeup, updating a first aid kit, deep cleaning your shower, washing your bath mats and rugs, deep cleaning the toilets, deep cleaning the sinks, washing all your towels and linens and just getting those freshened. This is a great time to replace your shower and possibly wash your curtain if it's a fabric one. Cleaning your grout if needed. We have this really awesome grout. I'm so thankful my husband knows about these products, but it's a really awesome grout that is, it doesn't allow it to soak in. I don't even know what type of grout it is. I'll figure out from him, but it's very special, and I don't have to clean it very hard. I mean, it's very easy to clean, and it doesn't need to be resealed. It's really been we have it in all the bathrooms, and it hasn't been a struggle as of yet, so I'm thankful. Replacing the caulking if needed. I know that in our upstairs bathrooms, we had some help doing some of those jobs, and they weren't done just exactly as needed, and so we've had a couple pieces peel, and so this is a great time to just rip those out and just redo it. In your bedroom, wash all your bedding and hang it on the line. Spray your mattress. I love the mattress cleaner from Norwex. I do not sell Norwex, but I love Norwex. Clean out your closet, your dresser, make any repairs. I have a dresser drawer that kind of needs to be re-glued. It's an antique dresser, so I can do that this season. I could take it out to the garage and just get that taken care of. Discarding broken hangers, things like that. Just making your life a little simpler, getting rid of the stuff that not maintaining stuff that you can't use. Cleaning under your bed, and then washing your pillows. And then next up, home office, just organizing your files, cleaning your computer, organizing office supplies. We do that anyway at the end of homeschool. We got to get back in that art caddy and get rid of the broken pencils and refresh some of those things. So this is a great time to do that. And then utility spaces, I'm going to just donate unwanted items. This would be down in my basement. I have a lot of things I need to donate. I need to deep clean my washing machine and dryer, clean out my vent really good. I need to organize some of my supplies and restock my water softener salts. This is a really good time of year to do that. I much prefer it now than in the cold months when you're hauling the big bags of salt. And then outdoor spaces. So if you have a deck or patio, this is a great time to scrub those and get it ready to bring out your patio furniture. Washing your driveway. We just had to do this 2 days ago. there's just mud everywhere. We're still in a construction site. And so we just have to get out there and get it cleaned, and it looks so much better. Some people have mildew that grows on a portion of their house. I know our neighbors, like the back of their garage that faces toward our house, gets mildew on it. And he's always so good to go out with the power washer once a year and just get that off. Washing your outdoor furniture, like I said, even power washing your house, like I kind of said about our neighbor, but the whole house, like you cannot imagine how good your house will look if you just power wash the whole thing. And then looking for any repairs. I know in the winter we had a couple areas of our siding that must have got bumped when it was really cold or something, and there's just a tiny little crack. And so we want to make sure to get those repaired right away. So anyway, this is what Miss Amanda is going to be doing, or has been working on for spring. And I do love a good system. And so my system is on the 15th of every month, in and around there, I will look ahead at the following month and start planning and writing down things. And that's kind of how I do it. So I hope that you have been encouraged or inspired, or you've felt like, wow, this is what I do. I got this. Or maybe you're like, hey, I have always wondered, what could I be doing this time of year? And get your family involved. My kids love to help. They love to be a part of it. This is not something that you have to take on your own. You know, we have from March all the way till, through the end of June into July before like summer hits. And so you could spread these things out over the next several months, and it's just making sure you touch the little areas of your home that sometimes we don't think about. So anyway, I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so glad that you joined us today. Hopefully this was a little bit more of a lighthearted episode, and we will see you back next time. I believe the next one up is our parenting episode. Have a great day.